Need help with food, bills, or basic essentials?
Stay tuned to find out more.
Welcome to Keys to Home. I'm Justice, and I am here today with Emily Bosshart, who is our Board of Commissioners Vice Chair for SHA and ISCEC. However, Emily is here in another capacity today. Can you talk to us about your role with Yokefellow and what brought you to this work?
So my official title is Community Resource Coordinator.
Okay.
But I kind of do a little bit of everything, and I enjoy that. I started volunteering in 2021 at Fifth Street Ministries when I moved here from Winston-Salem. And I had previously been working with an organization that supported unhoused and food insecure folks in Winston-Salem.
Wow.
And I kind of just fell in love with the area and noticed that they really needed a lot of community support, a lot of collaboration, and that turned into a job at Fifth Street, which then turned into a job at Yokefellow. So I'm kind of working my way around the South Side. But I really fell in love with not only the folks that we help, but also the folks who are helping. And to see that there are one-person ministries, two-people ministries, and then we have larger ministries like Yokefellow and Fifth Street Ministries. The community collaboration and the support network that is being created is really, it's fun. I hate to say fun, but it's there's so much learning to be done, and there's so much help to be distributed throughout the community.
Well, I love that you're really passionate about what you do and even given opportunities for those in the community who needs it. And for the people who may not know about Yokefellow, what can you tell us about the mission and the community it serves?
Sure. So Yokefellow started as a ministry in the 70s that supported folks who are coming out of incarceration, helping them transition back into everyday living. And there it turned into a food bank and a church basement, and from there it turned into our thrift store that supports our food bank now. So every dollar that we make at our thrift store now goes back into our helping center, which is the food bank. We have crisis financing for folks who are facing eviction, cutoffs, late payments, need just that to bridge that gap to help them get through the month. We have a diaper pantry. We have 3 mobile pantries where we pack our box truck with food, and we take them to 3 different locations throughout the county. We have 2 pantries in local area elementary schools, and we deliver once a month. We deliver food boxes to folks at a low-income senior living center.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of have our fingers all throughout Statesville and even beyond throughout Iredell County.
Okay. Well, you kind of already answered the next question, but I would love for you to expand on it, which is who typically comes to Yokefellow for support?
It's hard to say like a typical person, because everybody is just one paycheck or one accident or one hospital bill away from needing services. But, we have people who are here in crisis. We have people who are here, a family that needs help throughout the summer because there aren't free school lunches. We have older folks who have a spouse who may have passed away, and maybe that spouse, that husband or wife, did everything, paid all the bills, did all the grocery shopping, and now they kind of have to start learning those things again, and making sure that they don't lose their assets in the process. Young families, single moms. I have shopped as a customer. I have visited the food bank myself before I started working to get food myself. So you just never know what somebody's going through.
Wow. That's awesome. And what types of services are available for folks, and what are the eligibility requirements?
So for almost all of our services, very, very low barrier. For our food pantry, you just need to come in and put some information in our system so that we can track the numbers of food that we give out, not so we can track personal data, but we don't require a license. We don't require proof of local residency. For the diaper pantry, we just need a little information about children. For assistance, we do need an ID and a bill that's past due or a cutoff notice. That's pretty much the eligibility there. For vouchers, we give out vouchers at the Helping Center for folks to buy clothing, household needs at the thrift store. There is no barrier eligibility requirement for that either. So we try to make it so that the minute somebody needs help, they can come and get it and they don't have to wait.
And I do, like, that is really important when it comes to our resources, especially like what I do with work, because I work with resident services. So a lot of times if, our residents need something, we send them to you guys.
Oh, awesome.
And so it's kind of hard sending them to places where they have to go through this whole long checklist, maybe even a waiting list at some point. So it's really great what you guys do and how urgent it is that you guys are meeting the needs. So what needs do you see most often amongst the families and individuals?
Oh, utility help with utilities. Not only are utility costs growing, food costs are growing. So if you're going to choose between paying your light bill or getting food for your children, sometimes it seems like a simple choice. Also, food in general. Cost of food is growing up. People who wouldn't normally feel like they need to visit a food pantry will come in and say, I've never been here before, but things are getting way too expensive. And that could be, you don't have to live in authority housing. You don't have to be considered low income. Right. It happens at any point, and we see people from all walks of life.
That is amazing. I really love that, because I think that is something that a lot of people miss when it comes to helping families, is that like you said, it could be anyone at any moment. It doesn't matter. So that's really, really important. And what is the easiest way for someone to get connected with Yokefellow's services?
Just stop in. The food pantry is open Monday through Friday. We distribute food Tuesday through Friday, but Monday we have people in there that can answer questions. If we need to set an appointment for crisis financing, we can do that. If we need to refer folks to other organizations that will help pay bills, like DSS, or there are some other organizations, Salvation Army, that do have financing occasionally. We can point them in that direction. We always love to tell them, you can pick up your phone and dial 211 for United Way. And I have dialed 211 for people who have come and asked me questions, because I just don't know. Absolutely. And they're a much better resource for resources that are outside of the Statesville scope.
Absolutely. We are 211 fans over here, okay?
Love it. Have you called 211? I think that's my next tattoo.
Right?
Yeah.
So our next question for you is, are there any common barriers people face when seeking help, and how does Yokefellow help try to remove those barriers? I believe that one of the biggest barriers that so many people face is they don't believe they need help, or they may not have been in a place to have received help in the past, and there's some pride, which I totally understand, being independent for so long, and now all of a sudden you just need a hand. Transportation, I think, is the second biggest barrier. We do have an ICAT stop outside of our food pantry, but again, that costs money. It costs $1 to ride ICATS. If it's raining, if the weather's bad, if ICATS is running late, or if our pantry schedule doesn't meet the needs of the folks riding public transportation, that is definitely a barrier. I think those are the two biggest ones. Is that something you guys are wanting to work on and fix, and how that?
Yes, absolutely. And coming out and talking about Yokefellow, telling people everything we do, I think that kind of eliminates some of this. I don't need that. Everybody needs it, and if you need it, come and get it. We're here. We have it available. Transportation, that's a right.
Oh,
that's a whole can of worms. But we have been trying, and we just within the last year we got our ICAT stop. I want to say it's just been about a year, but it's hard if you don't have a car, if you don't have reliable transportation, if you're depending on somebody else to give you a ride. I mean, that definitely can stop you from coming to get the resources you need.
Absolutely. And if you would love, I would love this if you could share a story or two that really shows the impact of Yokefellow in the community.
There's so many. I think one story that everybody kind of knows about is the closure of Brookwood. And this kind of work doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our organizations can't perform well without the help of others.
Right.
So Yokefellow is just one of many people, many organizations that came to help out. We did help out financially with some folks moving in, but when they did find housing, if they needed clothing, if they needed beds, if they needed household goods, just to now know, I think, how long has it been since October? These many months out, having people still coming up and saying hi to me that we helped, and they're like, I'm in my own house. This is the first time. I haven't lived in a motel. I have my own furniture. It's not motel furniture. I can cook with real pots and pans on a stove. And it's stories like that. And you may help somebody out and not hear from them or see them for 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
And then they come back and say, I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about your store, the way you guys helped me. It's amazing where I am now. So there's so many of those versions of that story that that's what we do.
And does that give you I could just assume so it gives you a sense of motivation to keep going and what you do. I can only imagine. The one
thing I hear the most about when I talk about Yokefellow is, oh, you're so passionate about this. Yeah. And that really is 1 person, 1% is still progress. Mm-hmm. It's not possible to help everybody, but it is possible to help a few at a time, a day at a time. But that's absolutely the motivation. I have been in a place, I have been at my rock bottom too. Yeah. And I know it can be done, but it can't be done alone. And to have somebody come back and say, your organization was a part of my redemption story, that absolutely is powerful. Amazing. Yeah, it really is.
And if you don't mind talking to us a little bit about Yokefellow's partnerships and how they strengthen the support you're able to offer. And you did kind of mention a little bit, but please go in depth.
Yes, absolutely. So another story that kind of ties into this is Piedmont Healthcare ran a huge food drive. Mm-hmm. And it turned out to be so much food, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of food. We split it 3 ways with Iredell Christian Ministry and Salvation Army. And we all have different food bank schedules, so we can all make sure that, we're helping the community where they're at, whatever work schedule they're at. But we are consistently, lending our box truck to ICM. Mm-hmm. We have Joy, who used to work at ICM, comes to volunteer here. Mm-hmm. We brought lunch to the Salvation Army cooling station a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They're always helping us out when we need resources that we can't figure out on our own. And there's so many other organizations as well. I couldn't even name them, but it's just to see everybody coming together as a community is, awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so switching gears a little bit, you also serve on the SHA and ISCEC board. I do. So what inspired you to take on that role? I honestly, the former mayor came and asked me, I was running for city council, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And the mayor came and asked me about a year ago, he said, I know you're interested in doing something. Would you like to be on the board of Statesville Housing Authority? And I said, that actually sounds a lot more interesting than running for city council. So he said, you can't do both, you got to choose. So I dropped out of the race, and I very gleefully joined the board at SHA. And it's just to be on the front lines, to be able to be on the board at SHA and understand the real problems of the tenants, and to be able to be in a position where I can connect policies to the people that need to know about them in order to strengthen the sustainability, housing security in the area. It's a really cool place to be. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And we're so happy to have you, by the way. How does your work at Yokefellow influence the perspective that you bring to the board?
So there's a lot on the admin level for the housing authority that you may not see at like the property management level. And I think I get the best of both worlds. And I get to see where the gaps are kind of from the inside. And I get to make suggestions either to the board, to the organizations I work with. And I really get a big picture view of what's happening in Statesville.
Yeah. And there's definitely, that's something that we are like truly trying to work on, which is bridging that gap, especially the relationship between the residents and our staff. So I'm very happy that you can see that as well. And also, where do you see alignment between Yokefellow's mission and also the SHA's mission?
I think the one word that comes to mind is dignity. I think because you're asking for help, because you need help with housing or food or finances, you should be treated like anybody else. Absolutely. And I think that both organizations really put that at the center of their missions, and I like that there's that overlap there.
Yeah. And what do you hope to accomplish through your board service while you're here?
Ooh, again, a very long list.
I was going to say that sounds like a lot.
To sum it up, I think that I want to use my work at Yokefellow and being on the board to help community members that don't work in either worlds to better understand what they need to do to support these missions, and what they can do in their church groups or their work groups or among their friends in their book club, like your run. I know there's a run club, like run out and talk about what we can do, talk about how you can support. And again, it doesn't have to be Yokefellow. There's so many other great organizations. Just kind of take a look around. It could be your neighbor. It could be your kid's best friend. You just never know.
Right. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do, Emily. Seriously, you're amazing. Girl.
Thank you.
We appreciate your passion for making our community better. Yeah. And as we start to wrap up, what's one thing you want your audience to remember about Yokefellow?
That we welcome everybody, all walks of life, everybody. It doesn't matter what car you drive, what kind of house you live in, what your past is, what your present or your future is. If you need help, we want to help you. And if we don't have the means to help you, we're going to find somebody to help you.
Love that. And so Yokefellow, do they have any events coming up, or is there anything, opportunities?
Yeah, so Yokefellow does, we're closing in on the school year. Yokefellow does a yearly back to school bash at the Helping Center. They give out school supplies, emergency food boxes, backpacks, everything families need to start the school year right. We also do quarterly health checks with Contegra and Blue Cross Blue Shield, where we set up in the parking lot. We do diabetes testing, blood sugar testing. If you need information about insurance, we can help you with that. If you need to make sure your blood pressure is okay, we can help you with that. And usually we have a bunch of other organizations that join in to those events. So it's always a party.
It's always.
Yeah.
We love community events, guys.
Yeah,
That's what we throw
absolutely.
And where can people learn more about Yokefellow and find out how to get involved?
You can start by going on Facebook. I think our Facebook is very current, has a lot of information about our events, or you stop by, check it out, see what we do. There's so many people that drive through town to Troutman, every day, and they're like, I never knew you guys were here. So stop by. I'll give you a tour myself. You don't have to do it if you don't want, but check it out. And there's volunteer opportunities, there's giving opportunities. So there's so much.
Well, that's great. And I want to thank you again for joining us today, and for everything that you do. Once again, in a community like, girl, you're out here saving lives.
No, thank you for having me. I love talking about what I do, and I love spreading the word, because a lot of people still don't know what's available.
Absolutely. And trust me, times are tough now. So we need all the resources we can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're grateful for the work at Yokefellow and also your leadership on the SHA/ISCEC board. So thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to Keys to Home. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to keep up as we continue to share news and resources you can use. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.